Greetings, visionaries. Welcome. This is your host, the INFJ Visionary. A couple things we're going to talk about today. First off, let's talk about INFJ intelligence. How about that? Have you ever wondered if there's dumb INFJs? There's got to be, huh? By the way, in our last broadcast, I mentioned 2% of the population. It could be any number, but let's just work with that. 7 billion people. That is 140 million INFJs on the planet. That doesn't seem like a lot when you're talking about 7 billion, though. Hey, that's not a lot. Anyway, 140 billion, 140 million of us. These videos, you're the secret smart one, INFJ. You're keeping it under wraps. People don't understand you or your unique intelligence. That is true. That is true. The other thing I know it would come to me, and we'll get to it. It's IDC, IDC, IDC. What is that? I don't care. Okay, we'll get to that. The refuge of indifference. If you haven't found this place that you can inhabit, it's a good place for many reasons, especially if it's approached with the right sort of attitude. Anyway, yeah, I do think that. I don't know. I mean, I've known now. I just had an INFJ come into the place where I have my my place of work or whatever, and another INFJ. So I'm getting to know him. Unfortunately, I don't know if I've ever met another male INFJ, but probably have. We are hard to detect, and we are the masters of cope. Okay. So we can hopefully touch on that too. It's only going to be 10 minutes, but uh, just avoid any video that talks about what a special flower you are. You don't need that, and don't. You're going to be attracted to it because yes, you're misunderstood. Yes, you're most likely intelligent, and yes, nobody really cares. Okay, so it's natural to want to have some acknowledgement, I think. And what are you going to do? Well, what are you going to do? Hey, that's a natural segue. Not care. How about that? That's an option for you. Uh, you can retreat to a place of not caring that people acknowledge you. You can retreat to a place of not caring that the world doesn't respond to your output or your ideas or want to involve you, right? It's in many ways this world is made for the INFJ. We are sort of a tangent to it, and that's okay. I think that's our purpose. I think it's quite possible that the universe created us that way for a reason because we have an outside perspective. But even if you don't care, and even if you're outside, you're still inside. You're still a human being. You still care about most of the things other human beings care about. You need a little love, you need some food, you need some shelter, you need meaningful work. If you haven't got that, get busy. Find some. And as I mentioned in another broadcast, it doesn't matter what you do, it matters that you do. Can't just sit around playing video games. And I don't know if that's the INFJ, honestly. Um, I do know that there are other types that suffer from that. But then again, anyone could be kind of subsumed in a bunch of time wasting and distraction, I guess. It's a shame. You don't want to do that. It's okay to have a bit of a distraction now and again, but it can take over. And once it's taken over, you could end up in a place that you never thought you would. And at the end of it, just another wasted life. And who am I to say if your life is wasted or not? I'm not the determiner of that. You would be, right? So let's talk about the cope. And really good comments on the last broadcast I put up. And one of the things there really resonated with me about something I want to touch. Because I had mentioned to this lovely person commenting that when I first took the archetype test, the Jungian archetype test. I don't like to call it the Myers-Briggs, but people know what you mean a lot of the time when you say that, so that's all good. I don't remember, I think I might have come up as an ENFJ or something. Now, I do know an ENFJ, okay, so I ain't him, I ain't like him. Um, Sort of similar, you know, but not an extrovert, and that's it for damn sure. Anyone that would know me would have known that I wasn't an extrovert. But some people that know me, not anyone actually, that's not accurate. Some people that know me think I am an extrovert because that's the part of me that they interacted with, and that's the part of me that had to cope with reality. The reality I was sharing with that person. I remember I had this was many, almost 15, 16 years ago. I took a class on poetry, which I thought would be a great way to meet female dragons. And I'll tell you, there were a couple female dragons there, but whatever. It didn't pan out, but I ended up enjoying the class. And one of the things that come up, and there was a lot of discussion and stuff in the class, and that was cool. But one of the things that ended up coming up was the instructor of the class saying, "Oh, well, you're obviously an extrovert." Well, that's because I was speaking up in class. Doesn't mean I'm an extrovert. It means I have extroverted capabilities, and we do. And that is a bit of a blessing. We can always call on that. We can always use that. And like I've pointed out in other broadcasts, and you could definitely probably find out from your own experience. You can get lost in that. You could forget that possibly you are an introvert. Although you might wonder why you're tired all the time, why you're giving all the time, and I think that's our thing. Like some people can be extroverted in a way that is effortless. I think for us, we are because our preference is to hunker down and do the introverted thing. If we're in the extroverted mode too much of the time, it becomes exhausting. And I think for some of us, they may not realize why they're exhausted. What do you think? I mean, I think that's probably a valid idea. I can say for my part, I didn't even really, a lot of this stuff wasn't that known about when I was young. Maybe it was kind of coming into some parlance in the society, the introversion versus extroversion, but no one ever really worried about that. I just knew that I was a part, that even if I was fitting in, I was a part, and not a part, not a part of the mechanism, but a part as in, you know, people aren't on my wavelength, not digging necessarily, wouldn't dig the way I was thinking, especially if they knew the full range of it. That's still very much the case, only being an older, wiser dragon now. I keep it to myself, and I wait for my opportunities, and a lot of it just comes out here, where I just talk to you, and that's all to the good. This is actually my exercise in extroversion in a way, because this sort of extroversion is not exhausting. It's actually quite healthy for us just to talk and express what's coming from the NI, and verified by the introverted thinking. I don't want to give it short shrift, and put it out in the world, and that's what we're doing. And hopefully you got something from my broadcast today, and hopefully you're not coping too bad. And don't forget about that fortress until I come back. Keep on keeping on, INFJ.